Hello everyone. If you've seen any of my content before, then you'll know I like doing art and making things. However, outside of my content online, I have other hobbies and interests. One of the more important ones to me is exercising and physical fitness. For a while now, I believe I've been slowly improving myself in both my art and fitness journeys. However, I think up until now, any improvement I have made has really just been a side product of what I have already been doing, such as my occasional drawing or simple workout. Recently though, I have been wanting to take my skills and improvement more seriously and actually focus on getting better. It also just so happens to be around New Year's at the time I was making this video, so this is also sort of a New Year's resolution and I have even more motivation to stick to these goals. The first thing I need to do is establish my goals. In my art journey, I have been somewhat studying and wanting to improve myself on my knowledge of anatomy to my final goal of being able to accurately draw poses that look anatomically correct, and hopefully eventually being more confident on relying on my own skills and knowledge and using less references. Currently, I have some confidence in being able to draw a human with decent proportions and relatively decent anatomy shape, but if I have to accurately draw the placement and details of the muscles, I'll be pretty lost. At this point in time, I consider myself a copy artist since a lot of my experience has been from redrawing comics or anime, which is one thing I want to grow out of, and I think learning anatomy and how to draw a person will help me get out of that. However, copying art is also where I've learned a lot of my current experience in anatomy, particularly from drawing Spider-Man since he's pretty toned and you can see a lot of his muscles, as well as some simple and basic studies of human anatomy from a couple books that I have. On the fitness side of things, I've obviously been trying to get physically stronger and build my physical muscle. Now my knowledge up to now has really just been looking up videos on YouTube and using routines and workouts I find, or mashing together some stuff and creating some sort of my own routine. Recently, I have been using the routines mentioned in this video that I slightly modified for my own skills, but I find myself still not progressing the way I want in both the understanding and knowledge side of things, such as how and what muscles are worked with each exercise, as well as the physical side of things and my physical build. Over my experience in fitness, I have found myself leaning toward the Calisthenics style of training, which is a type of strength training focusing on using your own body weight and movements in exercises instead of weight training exercises and using equipment. This would be exercises like push-ups, pull-ups, squats, etc. This is perfect for me since I don't have the space or money for a full home gym, so I can work out at home with the little equipment I do have. On a quick side note, I wanted to ask you guys if you have any advice on my content or how to make it more entertaining or intriguing. I consider this my third real video, so I think I'm starting to get the hang of making content, but it's obviously still very new to me. If you do have any advice, please leave it down in the comments below. It really is much appreciated and it helps me out a lot. Anyways, you may have noticed that both of my interests have a similar overlapping topic, that being understanding and knowledge of the human body and musculature. This is when the idea finally hit me. I can gain knowledge on different exercises and better understand them and how to reach my goals physically, while also studying the anatomy of the human body and improving my skills artistically. My plan is to find references for all sorts of exercises and then redraw the exercises while being able to both study the anatomy of the human body and the movement and fundamentals of the exercise. Hopefully in the end, I'll create some sort of workout or exercise sketchbook I can always go back to and reference for both anatomical references and references on how I can push my body to reach my physical fitness goals. I want most of my references to come from videos of actual people so I can not only see the anatomy of a real person, but also be able to reference the exercise and proper form on how to do the movement if I want to. There are so many good references from videos, forums, and just images I find online, but I wanted to mention one of the main references I'll show in this video and use for example. Nay Tristan, or Tristan Nay, I hope I'm saying his name right, on Instagram is what I would call a fitness influencer. He posts all sorts of great information about calisthenics and wellness. He is also at a similar point that I have my goals at, both at his level of physique and physical build, and his physical skills such as handstand push-ups, straddles, and muscle-ups. As for the drawing side of things, he is also pretty cut and toned in his physique, making it easy to see each of his muscles and therefore easy to draw and study them, making him a really good reference for me on this project. By the way, if calisthenics or even fitness is something that interests you, I highly recommend checking him out. I'm going to leave his links and socials down in the description below. The first step was to do my research. I started by going through a lot of references and videos and making a somewhat organized list of all the references that I was interested in, whether they had a new exercise that I wanted to learn or attempt, or if the movement looked interesting for me to draw. My list included a link to the original source so that I could go back and reference it if I needed, as well as a list of whatever the exercises were presented in that source, or if there was any information or notes that I maybe wanted to come back to or use in my workout knowledge. From here, I tried to color code and list each individual exercise below so that I didn't redraw duplicate exercises, and I knew all the possible exercises I could choose to draw. which leads me here. I have all the different exercises presented through all of the resources here, labeled and organized by what type of exercise it is and or what part of the body it exercises. And finally, I've started my list of what exercises I plan to draw. Now, once I tried to figure out exactly what to draw, I realized how difficult that would be. And an issue with drawing all of these exercises is that a lot of the exercises have similar or repeating movements. An example of this would be how a lot of push-ups have the same or similar starting position, which is also the same as a plank. So what I plan to do is draw the repeating position for certain exercises once, and note that it is a repeating position for reference, while drawing the unique part of the exercise on a different page. I also want to mention that this reference and research page is constantly changing. From the time of making it, to me drawing, to me editing this video, I have added, removed, and edited it a ton of times already. Now for this project, I chose this ring sketchbook which I customized in this video here. It's a bit different than my usual content, but if you're interested in seeing the process I use to customize my sketchbooks, you can check it out there. I figured with this sketchbook, the rings will allow for easier flipping, and in the end, I can open the rings like I did in the customization video and reorganize the pages however I want, so I won't have to worry about what exercise I draw in what order. With everything organized for the most part, the final step is the actual drawing part. I wouldn't say there was anything too special about the drawing process since it really was just basic anatomy studies. Although, when drawing, I purposely try to accentuate and exaggerate the outline of the muscles that I could see for the anatomy side of this project. I also tried to keep the art style, if you want to call it that, on the more simple side so that the musculature was the main focus of each drawing. Some poses were harder to fit, so I decided to focus some of the drawings on the parts of the body that were actually being exercised. Such as in the push-up drawings, I only drew the upper body of the exercise since the legs weren't as important of a part of the exercise. I didn't focus on things like hands, face, and feet too much since I think those alone require their own separate studies. As for the workout side of this sketchbook, I tried writing down some basic notes for myself about each exercise. The information varied based on the exercise, but I usually tried to write down what the easier version would be, such as a push-up being on the knees compared to a regular push-up, what the harder version would be, maybe some slight variations of the exercise, such as hand placements for a push-up, and what area of the muscles the exercise itself worked. I obviously could be more scientific and thorough about my notes, but I think for a project like this, the information I included should be good enough for my goals. Plus, I can always add more if I need to. I realize this is far from the best strategy to study anatomy as an artist. I'm just hoping that it can help launch me into a more proficient studies in the future, since anatomy studies can be kind of boring. And also, maybe help me build a habit of drawing every day, or at least almost every day. Now, this is obviously a very big project. At the time of recording this script, I think I have about 60 different exercises listed in my research. As cool as it would be, I am not going to be filling up an entire sketchbook for this video. This is going to be a long-term project I work on in my personal time, but I believe that the handful of pages I did make give a good idea of what my final goal is, as well as meeting the idea of a project that can help me in both an artistic way and in a fitness way. Hopefully this helps me get into the habit of drawing a new exercise every day and being open to more generic anatomy studies since I kind of find those boring. Anyways, at this rate I should be done with this project in about 2 months. I don't know if I plan on doing an update video once I finish this sketchbook, but I guess I'll see how I feel when I finish it. If you would like for me to make an updated video in the future, please let me know down below in the comments. I hope you enjoyed watching me try out this more unconventional type of project and maybe got inspired to do some art of your own. Again, if you have any tips on video making, please let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video or want to see more of this type of content in the future, or maybe an update to this sketchbook if I do it, like and subscribe down below. It really supports me and means a ton. Also, check me out on my other socials if you want to see more content like drawings and other things that I make. Thank you for watching this far, and I hope to see you in the next one.